Hey, hey, we are here, Cairo Mafia. I'm just touring downtown Rome. Figured I'd just go through the Colosseum a bit. And then I'm like, oh crap, man, we got to do Cairo Mafia.
Exactly.
Yeah, so here I am with my brother, other Mafia brother, Joe Borio, and Adam Del Torto, by the way, I might say. Well, let me get our connection because Borio's in upstate New York. I got relatives right in the same city. Who knows what my mom was doing late at night? I don't know. With them,
Don't
I
throw your
got.
mom under the bus. It was your dad's fault.
Oh yeah,
It
well
was your
that's true too.
dad.
Well, we already know what my dad was doing. I'm just wondering about my mom. No, that story of my dad's that's already been traumatized through our family. So and then
That's
Adam
funny.
Del Torto, man, his mom's maiden name D Gian Domenico.
Go figure.
Yeah, and they figured it was
Now
too
we
many.
know what your dad was doing at night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they probably figured too many syllables when they came over on Ellis Island, so they cut that off. Went by Domenico. Here we are today. So when I say we are brothers from another mother, that is literally the truth.
Yeah, well, nobody's asking for any DNA tests on this end.
It's
Yeah,
probably best. It is probably best.
yeah. So we're going with the usual strategy. Is what do you want to talk about? What are you talking about? I don't know. We figured out what we would talk about, but what
How
we're gonna
you
do,
doing?
Adam? What's that?
Hey, the
I
the
said, how
one thing
you doing?
Yeah.
we're going to talk about the one thing we know and love, and that's chiropractic, baby.
That's right, brother.
Chiropractic principle, man. So yeah, so you're the honored guest, and I mean you came obviously one of the most principled guys, and you started Cairo Rock. So give us a little bit of your story, man. How did this start? How'd you end up where you are today? And you live the principle, man. So
Yeah,
where'd you
no, I
find
mean,
it? What's going on?
I was used to play football and wrestling in high school, and I actually had to wrestle the son of the coach of the U.S. Olympic wrestling team when I was in
Oh,
high
great.
school. When I used to go to wrestling camp, this is the guy he was like one of the coaches, right?
Yeah.
Like, for Christ's sake, why me? But I mean, the score was not indicative of the beating that I took. I think he only beat me like 3-1 or something. I think that's because he let me up once so he could take me back down. I refused to go to my back. He was just cranking on my neck, and by the time that match was over, I couldn't even turn my head. So my mom took me to a chiropractor, and I didn't even know what a chiropractor was at the time. But this guy, I swear to God, just by placing his hands on me and with the subtle little movements that he performed, I mean, I was brand new by the time I left there. And from that point forward, I just wanted to be a chiropractor. So at the age of 17, everything that I did in my life was focused on getting to chiropractic school and becoming a chiropractor. And and I was fortunate enough to go to New York Chiropractic College back in the day when that was the most amazing school on the planet. I mean, right now I think they've kind of shifted gears and gone more toward Medipractic. But
Yes, they have.
guys, we had Frank P. DiGiacomo as our philosophy teacher,
There's
and
an
I
Italian name.
that guy instilled the love of chiropractic in me like no other. And I've never lost that. I've lost, and then right from there, I graduated what 1984, like sometime around the fall of the Roman Empire,
Yeah.
is where I graduated, and I went to my first Parker seminar and sat front row center for Jim Zigafus and Reggie Gold and Fred Barge and Charlie Ward and Jim Parker
Holy
himself. And
shit. Now
I
you're
swear to God, I
talking,
felt like,
baby.
yeah, and they were just talking only to me. I felt like they were
Yeah.
just focused on me, and I wrote everything down that they said. And I'm telling you what, man, they lit a fire in me that has never gone out.
Hmm. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
It's
awesome.
that old school philosophy, man. I mean, we've been chiropractors for decades, right? I think I'm starting my 37th year in January. So it's like, I feel more fired up about it. The world's calling for it more now, but you
Yes.
look at a lot of the leaders, they're the old school philosophy guys that grew up, like we were so young and we look at Sigfus like he's the old guy. And then I look at, oh shit, am I the old guy now?
We
Yeah.
are.
Yes.
Now we're the old guys, you know?
We're
And
the old guard, man. We are.
Yes.
but it's the old guard, the philosophy, right? Guard it well. BJ Palmer, we got to, it's sacred. We have to guard it well.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's what this is about, because that's what's missing in chiropractic is that old school philosophy. And one of the
Yeah.
things I love about both you guys is the old school philosophy is very simple, right?
Yes.
Crooked is sick, straight is healthy. How do you want to live?
Exactly.
Right? In the Back to Health book I wrote, flexion is death, extension is life. You know, you want to create health in your body, learn how to use your body in a way that creates health
Yes.
and take
Yeah.
care of your spinal cord, right? It's and that we're doing a boot camp this weekend. So the simple one-liners. It's not the curve, it's the cord. You
Yes.
know, I work with a lot of CVP guys. They're so focused on the curve. No, motherfucker, pardon my language, it's the cord. You
Exactly.
want the curve because of the cord.
Because of the cord. Exactly.
Yeah, it's not the curve, it's the cord.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's
Well, I
awesome.
mean, the thing is that all these young chiropractors coming out of school they're struggling. They're
Yeah.
having difficulty making it because they're so fixated on treating symptoms,
Physical
headaches,
therapy.
back pain, neck pain. And the thing is like Dane Donahue's old saying, I love Dane Donahue. And one of the things that he really instilled in me is give them what they want, give them what they came in for, but show them what they could have.
Yeah.
And if they understood chiropractic the way we understand it, they would want that for themselves, their
Sure.
families, their friends, because it makes so much sense.
Sure
But
it
the thing
does.
is that nobody tells the story. They're just happy being these urgent care doctors and
Yes.
chasing pain. It's like this catch and release thing. So people think when they're in pain, they're in. When they're out, they're in, right? When they're in, they're out. They don't come in anymore. And it's just this futile, just treading water that they never really give that patient what they truly deserve. It's our obligation actually to inform them
Absolutely.
of
Yes.
what chiropractic has to offer.
It is.
Lifestyle chiropractic,
Hey,
you
let's
know?
change that a bit, man. Not inform them, transform them.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
I'm right. I'm gonna write that one down.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
that one.
because and this is where, we're teaching in the boot camps. It's like that's the old model of tell them what they need and then or give them what they want, tell them what they need. But the way you wire them from day one, because they're in a highly emotional condition, they're associating condition with an emotion. And so this is where what we're doing at the day one, day two boot camp is how to get every patient at the end of day one to say they agree chiropractic is a healthcare lifestyle, where
Yes.
either the patient will say it or they will agree to it right on day one. Then now what are they investing in? They're investing in a life, and there's generational patterns. Joe, you had a huge family practice,
Yeah.
with a 400 PVA, right? And so,
Yeah.
That's insane.
that's
That's
when
good for
they
you.
get lifestyle, kids are automatic.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
you don't have to educate, convince. No,
Right.
they just admitted it's a healthcare lifestyle. Now now they ask to bring their kids in.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, as the twig is bent, so grows the tree, right? I mean, that was an
Yeah,
old
we
Exactly
all have
right.
that poster
Jim
up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Parker.
It's great though. It's so powerful. It's so clear. It's great.
Toward the
So
end of my 40-year career, it got to the point where I was so tired of people coming in pain. I would tell them, I go, look, if you come in pain, you're going to have to pay extra. It would be
yeah.
like this urgent
Yeah.
care visit is what I
Yeah.
would tell them. I go, look, this is a lifestyle. This isn't chasing pain. Like you got to make your next appointment on the way out the door for your next wellness adjustment. Or if you don't do that and you call me up hurting in pain, that's what we call
Yeah.
an urgent care visit. And you know what?
Yeah.
Try walking into the urgent care. You know how much they
Yeah.
charge for emergency visits? That's what
Yeah.
you're going to pay. And I'm
Yeah.
telling you what, they only had to learn that lesson one time. Because after they came back in pain and they paid that extra fee, they
Yeah.
made their next appointment for their next wellness adjustment on the way out
Yeah.
the door. And it
Yeah.
created a whole wellness practice.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
We were meeting
awesome,
with a
man.
guy today. We had a guy come in I was in the office this morning helping out with the docs, and a couple of people had dropped, so I got one of the guys on the call, Nick, and
Of
he had
course, his
come in a
name's
little,
Nick.
yeah, he had come in a couple of times and wasn't feeling a lot better, so well, I don't know if it's really making a big difference. You just go through the conversation with him on the phone. So, Nick, I appreciate that. Let me ask you, if you're out of shape and you're 60 years old and you're out of shape and you went to the gym for 2 weeks and you said to the trainer, "Hey, I don't feel any better. In fact, I feel more sore and I haven't lost any weight at all. Like, I don't know if this is working for me." Well, what would the trainer say? And he started laughing. And I said, "So you want to go to you said you want to go to your medical doctor. So if your teeth are crooked, do you go to your medical doctor? He gives you Advil, they straighten your teeth?" Well, no. What's the only way to straighten your teeth? Orthodontist. I said, "So what's the only way to straighten your spine? You can take all the Advil you want, but if you're still crooked, how's that helping you?" And he got it, at least for enough to. He's coming in tomorrow, but I just realized that Fred and I talk about this all the time, but they never get it. So I teach the docs in the office that you got to just start from the position. They never ever get it. So day one in my office, every day I read that they never get it. So my number one goal out there is to get them to get it, not to adjust them above Atlas. Get them to get it, and then drive that home every single adjustment. And hopefully some of them will get it, but in general, they never get it.
Well, it's because you never get it while you saw 700 a day, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and that's the problem. And I go through this all the time on coaching calls. Like when a patient says something good, the doctor just leaves it alone.
Yes.
Like that, they have a flash of intelligence.
Yes.
It's like a camera flash. Oh, there's flash. Nope, it's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So they say, "Wow, doc, I'm really committed." And then, "Oh, okay, great. Let's just go right. Let's just shortcut all the steps and let's just talk about money." And then all of a sudden it's like, "Well, I didn't know it was that much." And right? Well, you just said you were committed. No, you believe them. That's the problem.
Exactly.
It's only the ever problem. You believed what they said.
Yes.
That's the only problem.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's like having a teenager, man. Oh, well, yeah, that's like my son. I remember I came home one day, the refrigerator door's open, there's 2 broken eggs on the floor. I'm like, "Chase, what happened?" "Oh, I don't know." "Well, let's see. There's you and there's me, and I just got home."
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Well, as long as you don't know, try and figure it out while you're cleaning it up off the floor. How about that? Maybe you'll remember when you're cleaning it up.
Wow. The thing is, we used to be those same exact kids, man. So it's like when my grandson tries to pull that on me, I tell him, "Look, man, you can fool the fans, but you can't fool the players. I was you. So clean it up and just tell me the truth next time."
Things have changed. I would have walked into the kitchen. My father would, what?
Yeah, exactly.
What?
That's just in case you did something.
I didn't tell you what? Seriously?
Now that's Italian foreplay.
Yeah. Exactly.
My
I always say my father became an Olympic sprinter anytime I was in trouble. I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what it was, but he became an Olympic sprinter. It was like I could never outrun that son of a bitch. I don't know what happened, but man. Oh,
yeah,
my dad's hearing was very acute. Go ahead, brother.
This is kind of a joke, but my grandfather would sit down at the table and he'd say, when I was raised, he had 4 boys, sits down at the table, takes his belt off, puts it to the right of his plate. And that's it. That was the rule. You get established, just eat. Manja, that's all it is this is eating time.
That's the Sicilian honeymoon. You know that, right? You bring her across the threshold, smack her in the face. She starts crying. What's that for? That's for doing nothing. Imagine if you do something. You got to set the tone day one.
Oh, I haven't heard that one.
That's my dad. Oh, my God. My dad. Nonstop one-liners. He would talk about meeting a woman. Listen, you want to meet a woman? Not a girlfriend. You go to the bar, you meet a girlfriend. You want to meet a woman? You go to the grocery store. He says, and then if she's got a produce in her cart, you know she knows how to cook. So she's going to cook you a good meal. She buys the processed food she doesn't know how to cook. And then he says, you look at her purse when she goes to check out. If her purse is neat and nice and clean, she keeps a nice house. If it's a disaster, she pulls her checkbook out, everything's falling out. No, then she doesn't keep a good house. That's not a good wife.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
There's some strong core
values. He was right,
values.
though. I got to admit, he was right.
Yeah. There's some strong core values right there.
Exactly.
Oh, that's so awesome.
The qualities that make a good girlfriend are not the same qualities that make a good wife. That's what he used to tell me. Right? So.
Yeah.
Adam, so talk to me about practice. You're done?
I don't think I'm done. I actually, you know, I moved up here to North Idaho, and they say what moving is the second most traumatic thing you go through after, I think it's either marriage or divorce or both of those. But yeah, I moved up here, and I'm not even unpacked. As soon as I got here, I hit the road. You know, I do this bizarre balloon thing where I put balloons up your nose and inflate them, and just kind of cracks your whole cabeza from the inside out. So as soon as I got here, I threw everything into the garage and just hit the road, lecturing, you know, teaching my seminars, spoke at a few different places. I lectured down in San Diego at the CCA convention. And then right from there, I went up to Alaska, both ends of the spectrum, and spoke at the Alaska Chiropractic Association. Awesome. Actually, I'm going to be on a podcast with Todd Kersey tomorrow. You guys know Todd from Jersey?
I don't.
Oh, you would love this guy. He is one of us.
Tell him we get him on Chiro Mafia.
You have to
his
get him
last name? What nationality is he?
Come on. Kersey. He's a botchagaloop, just like us.
Yeah.
He is.
Oh,
man.
I didn't know how he spelt it. But hey, first I want to make a comment, interrupt you there, because first time, well, you've only done it once. He did the cranial nasal thing, and I'm like, you know, first all you gotta do is look at my nose and know it's been traumatized. But I'm like, dude, I used to kickbox, man, blah blah blah. So he gave it an extra squeeze, and that thing freaking exploded, opened up my crown chakra. Like it was like,
yeah. Dude,
I've never had that before.
It is.
Oh my god! Well, he was
life changing.
Yeah. All right, I'll do it.
It's good stuff. I mean, it taps into that, you know, old BJ's from above down, inside out.
Yeah.
Everybody focuses on the second half of the equation. Nobody's tapping into that other 80%.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you. I mean, when I first heard about it, I was like, "What? Balloons up the nose? Are you insane?" I literally got up and walked out of the guy's lecture because it was just too incomprehensible for me. And then like about 15 years later, like I came across it again. And this time I was like, oh, I remember this. So I went up and took the seminar, and oh my God, it changed my whole life. You know, once you unlock this other 80%, man, it's biblical level healing.
Yeah,
I mean, the obvious thing it does, of course, is open up your breathing, but you know, it mobilizes that whole cranial system, takes the torque off the dura, gets that cerebral spinal fluid flowing. And I mean, I can't even tell some of the stories because I get emotional. It's just, they're not believable. It's literally like miracle level chiropractic.
Yeah.
It's pretty insane stuff.
So tell us about Chiro ROCKS, man.
I never knew what I was getting. Chiropractic ROCKS.
Yeah, how'd you get into that? What was your inspiration?
Is that what you're asking me? Oh, no. I mean, Chiropractic ROCKS is a whole different thing. That's, you know, more along the lines of like a Parker or like, you know, like a Cal Jam type thing. And there was just so many speakers that I wanted to hear that I would meet in everyday life, like you, Fred. You know, I mean, first time I heard you speak, I was like, wow, this guy's got a message to deliver, you know. But I've never seen you on stage before. And then there's all these other guys who just deliver powerful messages, but nobody's giving them stage time. And I had a message that I wanted to deliver also. So I figured, you know, I'm just going to put together my own convention, you know, along the lines of a Parker or something, and put everybody on stage that I want to hear deliver the message. And it just took off. I mean, we've only had 3 of them so far, but now that I'm not doing it because I moved to North Idaho, I took a year off. Man, my phone is blowing up. Hey, when are we doing another Chiropractic Rocks, man? That was great. I want to come, and all these vendors are reaching out to me. They want to join. So I don't know. I'm thinking I was going to do 2024, but I don't know what's going on next year. I mean, I know that we're heading into some kind of well, it's an election year, first of all. So they're going to do something to thwart the election, whether it be World War III or the new scamdemic that they're going to come out with, called the Sears virus. They've already got commercials made for it.
You see what happened in New York? They just passed a bill where the government in the state of New York can detain you if they feel as though you present a health risk.
Yeah, you and your children, they can take your children away. I just emailed that to Peter Morgan and to Tony Carino. He's another one of my buddies out there. So yeah, it's turning into like a military state, almost like martial law. And so anyway, I think I'm gonna hold off and see what happens with 2024, but we are definitely coming back strong in 2025. And I've already got all these people lined up that are ready to take the stage for us. So I think taking a couple of years off is really going to actually add to the suspense of it coming back, and it should be pretty big.
I'll tell you, when we talk about when you talk about what's going on next pandemic, or we talk about New York, and you start to look at the principle, the philosophy, the fire of that, that old school chiropractic, and bringing the philosophy to the table. Like the world, like Fred's saying, it really is the best time. I mean, you see a lot of practices that are principle. Those are the ones that are blowing up. The back and neck ache practices aren't blowing up, but the doctor, the guy or lady up there who's practicing healing and teaching healing and talking about subluxation and talking about removing interference and allowing the body to express itself. That's what people are thirsty for. And when you learn that, and when you own that, when that becomes a belief and that becomes a way to live, then you know what? You don't succumb to the sabotage. You're not listening to all that other shit, because all that stuff doesn't make sense to you anymore. But without it, you're out of fear. You don't know what's happening. You're like, oh, geez, maybe, whatever. And then you make stupid decisions or bad decisions for yourself. But there's never a time more for us to vocalize what we do, for sure.
Well, and when the chiros, when you're willing to accept anyone, this was another chiro mafia, right? Like we have a patient application system. What are your standards? But the people that will use chiropractic for healthcare will stay with you because they know they need to be healthy, right? It becomes like going to the gym. I mean, gyms closed for a while, but I didn't stop working out. You know what I mean? The gym memberships were still there. The minute they opened, everybody was in there because it was a lifestyle. And so that's the thing. It's like, if you're not preparing for creating lifestyle, people coming to you for healthcare now, it may be too late when you're immersed in it. You may feel like you're drowning. Like, now is the time. And through COVID, I had so many clients that thanked me, that I've been working with. And I'm sure you do too, Joe, that they're like, oh my God, man, I see all these people, chiropractors crashing and mine's staying strong. Because we already created a healthcare culture.
Yes. No, one of our practices closed, which was just unbelievable. It was just
we didn't.
Well, because the people that got it, the people that you educated up front, it wasn't like, oh, I can't come in because of COVID. It was like, oh, I better come in because of COVID.
Right. Exactly. Isn't it crazy?
Little internet interruption.
How is it we still don't get it? We were talking about that in the office today with the docs. Like, when mom brings her kids into the orthodontist, the doc doesn't have to do a day 1. He doesn't have to do a day 2. Mom's like, his teeth are crooked. And, she's not like, oh, wait, what do we have to do? We have to use braces. And, oh my God, this is going to be expensive. Like, none of that conversation fucking happens. It's like, here it is, sign here, day 1, boom. Braces are on, and yet here we are, 2023, and yet so few people know what we do. Our message is so confused and so clouded, and yet it's so easy. Like, your brain tells your body what to do. How's it talk to your spine? So if your spine's crooked, does it talk to it better or worse? I mean, I don't even understand how you can how that isn't even just mainstream knowledge for everyone that comes in and looks at their spine and goes, damn, I better be here forever. Like, instead you're like, you're still having to try to convince them sometimes. It boggles my mind. It boggles it.
Well, that's because look what you just said. It's so simple that they can't not get it.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with patient education and giving information. Like, you're not educating, you're changing a belief system. The information is automatic in the message, but you ask questions that shift belief systems. And then they're like, oh, that makes sense. So Dr. Joe, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, I should do this for the rest of my life.
Yes, exactly.
Like, well, what do you think? Well, absolutely. Right. And then, Doc, I have 3 kids. Do you think they need it? They probably need it too, don't you think?
Yes, yes. They start thinking that way. One of the, like a simple thing, somebody comes in and broke. I would say, well, why'd you break? Like, fix me, Doc. Well, I can appreciate that. We will, but why'd you break? Because you weren't what? You weren't taking care of it. So once we get you well, we got to what? We got to keep you well, or you're going to what? You're going to break again. Exactly. I mean, it's just like, it's just amazing. But you hear, and I understand it's not the new doc's fault, but the schools have just literally gutted every aspect of what chiropractic is, what healing is, what we call it philosophy, and obviously there's philosophy, but doesn't the science just substantiate the philosophy anyways? I mean, if your nerves propagate messages that go through the spine and your spine gets crooked, there isn't one study that says, hey, crooked spines, the nerves work better. Every fucking study says they work worse. And your sympathetics, your brain activity, cerebral spinal fluid, like everything's worse if it's crooked. So nothing, Advil doesn't make it straighter, only push it on it does. Like, it's just amazing, right? And you're looking at people sometimes and and you're talking to medicine. It's just like, really? I can't even believe I can't even dumb myself down enough to have a conversation with some people sometimes, right?
Well,
that's what makes us separate and distinct from every other health profession is that we have a philosophy of treatment. Like, try asking a medical doctor what their philosophy of treatment is, and try asking a physical therapist what their philosophy of treatment is.
Exactly.
And they just look at you like, what do you mean by that? It's like, that's what we have that makes us distinguishable from all other professions is our philosophy.
And you know what else?
You don't heal better crooked. Do you heal better crooked or straight? Straight. So how long you been crooked for? A long time. So let's get you straight. Then once I get you straight, what do we got to do? Like, it's just so obvious, right?
Hey, I was at my family's Thanksgiving, and a friend of the family, whatever, physical therapist, right? And he loves his job, and I'm not dogging on physical therapy, but when you look, like, you're a chiropractor, you're not a physical therapist. Chiropractic school taught you to be a physical therapist, most chiropractic schools. And I was looking at him, and I appreciated how passionate he was about what he did. But then I think about praxis, like, I almost wanted to ask him, and I think I did, don't you get bored of knees and shoulders? Because why don't we I want a cancer patient. I want an asthma patient. I want a autoimmune patient. Like that's, and you look at a knee or a shoulder, like, some people have passion for that. And I get it. Did I work on knees and shoulders? Absolutely. But they became lifestyle people, right? But it was a principle, and maybe you had something extra, but it was funny. It's like, it's the people that get thrilled about the musculoskeletal. And I'm not dogging on you if that's your passion, but then be a therapist or a trainer.
It's like using a smartphone to make calls. That's what I just look at. It's like, I have a smartphone, Apple phone, and all I do is make a phone call on it. It's like, wait a minute, hold on. Do you realize what that thing can do? Like, do you realize what chiropractic can do? Like, do you realize the effects of the neurology being compromised does to the body? Like, everyone's neurologically compromised. If you're not under regular care, you are neurologically compromised. And Heidi Havoc come out with a study. Did you see that study she come out with? One cervical adjustment, C5-6, afferent flow, cerebellar activity, improved prefrontal cognitive function 20%. Can you imagine if Pfizer came out with a fucking pill and said, take this pill and your brain's going to work 20% better? You wouldn't even be able to keep it on the shelf. And no chiropractor talks about it. It's like, are you kidding me? It's unbelievable. That's one adjustment. And Carrick was doing stuff in the 90s about somatosensory and the integration and brainstem. And it's like, you know, they got occipital cortex, and you can see an image faster after an adjustment. You can see your brain works faster. Chris Kent study on MRI, functional MRI, your brain neural recruitment, neural efficiency is better. Like, all of that's out there. Like, nobody talks about it. It boggles my mind.
Dean just published a study in a Q4 journal on sensory motor integration and how subluxated spines and problems with curves lead to Parkinson's, and you can see Alzheimer's and all these other things.
Yes.
Whose study was that?
Dean Harrison.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But like, we're like this, we have this great thing and nobody talks about it. Like, everybody wants to talk about stenosis and spondylosis. It's like, well, let's talk about stenosis and spondylosis. How did you get there? It's crooked. What comes through that hole? A nerve. Where does it go? It doesn't just go to your back. It goes to your prostate, your pudendal nerves, goes to your testicles. Like, what do you think's happening in those organs if it's choked off? Like, what are we doing? It's such a missed opportunity.
People are so symptomatically based, you know. It's like you have a headache and you take an aspirin, your headache goes away. But yeah, it's like BJ used to say, the greatest miracle of chiropractic is a story that's never told. Because people don't get sick from things they would otherwise get sick from because they get adjusted. Just like you're talking about, Joe. It's like these guys, you know, it heightens brain activity and brain function, even though they don't feel their headache go away.
Yes.
You know, they're not even aware that they see the picture quicker or their brain functions at a higher level. And all the things that does for their overall health, they just stay well, you know, and they almost need to get sick and then feel better for it to mean something to them.
Right. But Adam, and I know we're in agreement, but the chiropractors, like you're saying, I listen to Sigafus and I listen to Freddie Barge and I listen to Reggie, like, you know, and Fred and I get talking about tick, and like, you know, we'll get on a webinar. Before we get on the webinar, we're all fired up 20 minutes. We're bullshitting before the webinar. It's like, where's the passion about, you know, it breaks my heart. Like it's not there anymore. You know, it isn't there. And people get all excited about hearing about this or this. And yet, you know, where's the fire? Where's the fucking brimstone? Like, you could change the world by what we do. And the philosophy changes the world by how we treat each other, how we look at our body, where it comes from, how we interact with other people. Like, the 33 principles all relate to that. I mean, you're going to live a better life if you live just by the principles. So,
let me show you something here. I'm going to show you right now.
Yeah, there you go, baby.
I look at that every day, man.
Hey, what's that say for people that can't read it?
It's the 33 principles hanging right up on the door, or right up on my bulletin board right in front of me. So they're in my face every day. But you know, the thing that sparks that passion is the philosophy. Fred, when you're talking about that physical therapist, like, how passionate is he about shoulders and knees? It's like, you can't be passionate about that because there's no fire behind it. There's no philosophy that gets you excited about changing lives. I mean, you're just rehabbing shoulders. I mean, after doing that for 10, 15 years, how passionate are you about the work? You can't be. Even if they say they are, they're lying. You know, I mean, we're passionate because we're changing lives. We're adding years to people's lives with every adjustment we give. I mean, that's where the passion comes from. And you got to program yourself. You know, it does get to be tiring after a while, going into the office and dealing with people that are hurting all the time. But you've got to get up every morning and program yourself and catch fire before you get into the office. I used to listen to Zigafus tapes, and you can laugh at me if you want, but I used to listen to Jerry Clum tapes on the way to work.
No,
that guy fired me up like no.
I still fucking listen to it. I'm listening to Valley of the Blind by Reggie Gold at least every 2 weeks.
Yeah, Reggie, I
They
got to
can't see.
Reggie.
I mean, they can't see. What, you know, they lost their vision.
Yeah,
That's
and
their
that's the thing
profession.
is staying on purpose, having
Yes.
defined purpose. Like if
Yes.
somebody come up to you and asked you what is your purpose, you've got to be able to articulate that
Yes.
and like
Exactly.
have a specific answer. Not like
Yes.
what do you mean? What's my defined
Hey,
purpose? You know?
I want to make
Yes.
a comment on that, Adam. I remember a patient one day goes, "Don't you ever get tired of pushing on spines?" And I said,
Yeah.
I go, let me think about that. So what you're asking me is, do I get tired of making an adjustment, releasing God inside them, reconnecting them back to the universe so they can be more conscious of who they're created to be? And that consciousness elevates the consciousness of all humanity. No, I don't get tired of that. And the guy's like, okay, see you Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, hey, before you go, you're paying double today because you pissed me off and you asked a stupid question. That's what you said.
Yeah, exactly.
You
But
know,
that's how we saw it. Like every adjustment, I would breathe through it. It's a spiritual principle. Otherwise, really, what are you doing? You're just pushing on bones. And that's one of the stats that we keep is percent kept appointments, right? If someone comes in for an adjustment, they're going to decide subjectively whether or not they need it because you're forgetting about the nervous system. You're forgetting why you did the adjustment. You didn't teach people that it's not the adjustment, it's the healing that happens after the
Correct.
adjustment.
Correct.
So I would teach people, look, when I adjust you and you're coming 3 times a week, you're in a healing state the next 24 to 36 hours. So when
Right.
they say, dog, traffic was a nightmare, I just drove an hour, I go, I know. You're going to drive an hour here, an hour home, so you can have 36 hours of healing.
Exactly.
And I'll see you on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
that's what they forget.
They
You
forget.
think it's the adjustment. No,
Sure.
it's the effect that happens the next two
Right.
days,
It improves
week,
the healing.
whatever. Yeah, it's
Exactly.
the healing. Focus on the healing. So when I had new patients, I could report of finding someone skeptical, about the structure. I go, look, man, your problem isn't your spine. You can be subluxated, your spine can be out of alignment. That's not a problem. The problem is you got a spinal cord going down the middle of that. Now you have a big fucking problem.
Exactly.
And that's that arthritis, that degenerative disc, that's not a problem. The degenerative disc that's smashing the nerves and putting stress on the spinal cord,
Exactly.
that's a huge
Exactly.
problem.
That's the problem.
Yeah, we get so caught up in the spine, right? And the curve and not the cord.
Yes.
Lifestyle is in the message of the cord,
Exactly.
not the curve.
Changing their life, big practice, serving people. That's in the service of the cord. It's in the service of the nerves, not the spine. Not the spine.
Exactly. Now we have to fix the spine to get to the cord, but let's
Correct.
not focus on the spine. Let's focus on the
Correct.
cord.
Correct. Exactly. Yeah.
I can still remember when I was not even young in practice. I was probably 10, 15 years into practice, and Reggie Gold was speaking at this venue in, I don't know, it was a couple hours away from me. And it was like a Saturday morning. I'm like, man, it's my Saturday, but it's Reggie. And I drove all the way there, and something happened on the freeway that made me late, and I walked in and Reggie looks at me, he goes, "You're late." He goes, "You're not going to get any CEs for this class." I'm like, Reggie, I don't need any CEs. I got more CEs than I know what to do with. I go, I came here to see you. And he, like, his eyes welled up and my eyes welled up. And we're both like, and the only spot available was right there in front, like, front row center for Reggie. Like, how was that seat even available?
Yeah,
And he goes, "Oh,
exactly.
you come sit right here, brother, right here next to me." And I had Reggie like 2 feet away from me the whole weekend. And man, you want to talk about life changing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Said at that seminar on how he would do his report of findings and he would only accept 1 out of 10 new
Yes.
patients that came into it
Yes.
because he would sit down and give them the whole chiropractic story in that first visit. And if they weren't 100% in,
Yes.
he was like, you know what? I'm just not the chiropractor for you. And he would cut them loose.
Yes.
But over the course of like 2, 3, 4 years, 1 out of 10 equaled like 300 a day.
Yes.
And he had this little end thing that he did.
Yes.
It was like the shape of an
Chemistry of
N.
life.
Yeah, and he would and I would sit there and go, that is conviction for what we do.
Yes.
That guy owned it, and I
Yes.
can't. he must have changed so many lives by accepting 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
You know, just imagine if chiropractors had that level of conviction for what we do. You know, there would be no
Oh, we would
unsuccessful.
already dominate healthcare.
Yeah, and that's the
Exactly.
thing. You know, I mean, it's chiropractic is not uh, what they turned us into. You know, neck pain, back
Yes.
pain, and headaches.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a lifestyle. It's health through chiropractic. Chiropractic
absolutely.
first.
Yes.
Absolutely. Hey, we got to wrap this up here, man. So,
Jesus,
hey,
man,
what
we
do you,
just got started. Are you
yeah,
serious?
I know.
Hey, mom was just bringing out the pasta over here.
Exactly. I
Oh,
got the
dude, I wish.
sauce. Come on.
Yeah. So, hey, thanks for hanging with us, Adam. What would you like to leave them with? One, look for Chiropractic Rocks. How do they get on your mailing list? How do they get a hold of you? What do we do?
You know, I mean, it's chiropracticrocks.us. Chiropractic Rocks Us is what it is. So people are
Oh,
going, I can't
cool.
find you because there's some, actually, I met her at Cal Jam. Some girl has chiropracticrocks.com. And when they look that up, they get her. But no, it's
Yeah.
Chiropractic Rocks Us. And I have just gotten off the road. I just got back from Australia. Then from there, I went to Miami last weekend and taught a seminar there. So I'm finally home and I can finally start focusing on redesigning the website and getting it ready for our next venue. But yeah, that's it. Chiropractic Rocks, baby, right here.
Yeah,
Dot
yeah.
US.
There
And
you go.
we're gonna
Dot
we're gonna change
US.
the world through chiropractic. You know, through principally based, passionate philosophy based chiropractors.
Yeah, Adam,
Awesome.
when you get a chance too, if you send it to me or Fred, and then we can post something on the Chiro Mafia Facebook page.
Absolutely, yeah, I would love that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, cool,
Happy to do
man.
it.
Thank you,
Thanks.
man.
What do you want to leave them with, Joe?
I like your words today. It's the core, not the curve, man. That says it all right there.
Yeah, awesome.
Wrote it
And
down, baby. I wrote it down.
yeah, there you go. And I'll just leave you with we just did a video. Get on our email list. Go to, first of all, I'd say go to elitecoachingllc.com and then download the Back to Health book because I did this video also. It's called 6 Words That Immediately Create a Lifestyle Patient. And if you use these 6 words, it'll create a belief system. And Back to Health is all the science, medical studies that support it. And that is flexion is death, extension is life. And that's it, man. You know, you stretch the cord, autoimmune, cancer, all the things. And it shows medicine is proving the same thing that
Yeah,
flexion distortion, it will kill you.
exactly.
So flexion is death, extension is life. Man, that is the principle. And being we're in a flexion distorted world now, every patient needs to get into extension every day. At the end of the day, I get in a dental roll, right? They need to do something in extension every day,
Yeah.
or they're going to get sick.
Yes.
Done.
Well, that's because the world is in flexion. Everybody's sitting all the
Yes.
time, all day.
It's
You know, and
terrible.
then when the physical therapists give you stretching exercises for your low back, it's like bring your knees to your chest. It's like, no, you're
Yeah.
already like that all day. It's like
Open them up.
you got to go into extension. You nailed it with that, Fred. Right on, brother.
Cool, man. Well, hey, we love you guys. Adam, thanks so much for taking the time. I know I just called you
Appreciate you
like
having me, bro.
practically yesterday. Hey, dude, we want to hang out with you, man.
Oh no, well, and Joe, he was really bragging on you, brother. He was telling me, some of the feats that you've accomplished. I was like, what? Is that even possible? So
Well,
yeah,
we're Italian. Of course, it's fucking
hey,
possible,
that's right.
dude. Are you
Yeah, exactly.
serious?
I, I love
Exactly.
it. Yeah,
I
when I
love
get
Smith
down to
this joke. He says, hey, Italians can't play basketball. You got to put a cement driveway in or build a
yeah,
brick wall.
that's
Yeah, now
Italian
that's what we're
basketball.
designed for. So,
Yeah,
exactly. Give me
exactly.
some vertebrae, man. I'm Michelangelo with the chisel. Let's
I'm gonna
go,
stop
man.
in and see you next
Go.
time I'm up in Buffalo.
That would
You
not be a bad idea.
Brother,
So,
I'll tell you what, you would fit right in with my uncles. I mean, at the end of
okay.
the day, your freaking cheeks
Ow,
are
ow.
no, they're hilarious, like one-liners after another. And talk about passion for what we do, man.
Exactly. Love it.
Yeah,
Awesome.
you're in.
All right. Hey, love you guys. Thanks for
Love you
hanging out
too.
Thanks,
with
brother.
us.
Love
Go to
you guys.
YouTube channel, subscribe, share. and let's get this message out to all chiropractors all around the world, man. Let's create unity and let's create a movement, lifestyle movement.
Absolutely. Good hanging with you.
Chiropractic, baby.
All right. Peace,
all right,
guys.
Thanks. Peace out, guys.
All right, take care. Hang on a sec.